morning and welcome to the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors meeting. Today is Monday, March 22nd, 2021, 9 a.m. First item on the agenda is to review the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Nathan, seconded by Scott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. The next item is discussion and possible action to approve the claims March 22nd, 2021 in the amount of $353,161.75.
Move to approve.
Motion by Scott,
Second.
seconded by Nathan. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The next item is a public hearing for proposed plans, specifications, and form of contracts and cost estimate for the Muscatine County Attorney's Office remodel. This is a roll call for,
First week.
sorry, my bad. So this is just the proposed plans. This is a public hearing.
Did we get any written comments?
No, we did not. Mike, are you there?
I'm here. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, good morning. Do you want me to just give a quick recap of the project outline?
Yeah, you could.
Okay. Yeah, so this is, as we had discussed back towards the end of schematic design, big picture of what we're doing. We're doing some interior renovation, some exterior maintenance work, and then just aesthetic upgrades around the property. The interior work primarily consists of the addition of an accessible unisex restroom on the main level and the addition of an accessible kitchenette area. We're going to do some minor upgrades to the interior entry to add in a secure vestibule, and we're also going to be redoing the front entry to basically to add access control, so that's bringing it in line with the new card swipe system we have installed in portions of the courthouse and over at the sheriff's office. For the exterior work, we are planning to replace the roof. We're going to infill the existing monitor windows with insulation, but keep that structure in place. We're also going to be replacing the precast panels around the exterior, removing the ones that are vertical on the face of the building, and then replacing the parapet all the way around to incorporate drainage, proper overflow drainage, and then also to add the aesthetic improvements to tie that better into the county admin building. On the county admin building, we're going to be replacing the awning, which is at the end of its service life, and then also adding identification signage on the exterior of both buildings to identify the administration building and the county attorney's office. There was miscellaneous interior for the county attorney's office is also going to include improved lighting. We're going to replace the drop ceiling in the central space, and we're also adding a couple of circuits, basically some movable power poles in the systems furniture office space in the center of the offices. The included with your packet is the full project manual, which will have the bidding. We are planning to open the bidding tomorrow, pending approval of this. We'll have a pre-bid meeting next week, and then on April 15th, bids will be due. We're looking to come back to you on April the 19th with a recommendation for a contractor. The cost estimate is fairly similar to where we were at the schematic design phase. It's gone up a little bit, and that's based off of the request to do additional work for the infill of the insulation. We've added some lighting scope and a replacing of the ceiling and tying in some of the awning work on the other building. So by and large, this is still where we have been as far as budget for the overall project. So we'll take any questions we have at this point.
What insulation are we putting in on the? Are we just putting insulation on the walls and the ceilings? Any added onto that?
Yeah. So what the insulation? So the panels are, the existing glazing is about 4 inches thick. So there's a detail on sheet. Let me grab my drawings here. If you take a look at detail 7 on sheet A501, we're going to infill that with a 2-inch foil-faced polyisocyanated insulation, which is similar to what we'll do with the roof. And then outside of that, beyond the face of the wall, we're going to put another 2 inches. Well, a total of 4 inches of polyisocyanated insulation which is going to give us an effective R value of around an R28. And that's going to be the same insulation that we're going to add over the entire rooftop. We did do a core of the roof just to see what the existing insulation is. The existing insulation is an expanded polystyrene product, and my suspicion is we probably have an effective R value of maybe R10 to 15. Current code requirement is an R30, so we're going to add another 2.5 inches of polyisocyanurate insulation over the entire roof, which will get us up and over the R30 requirement.
Good. We had talked, I believe, last meeting in regards to, some discussion in regards to the potential of doing some thermal imaging around the windows or any heat loss. Is that something that we were able to look at, or was that something that we talked about at the end? I can't remember.
Yes, I did do some thermal imaging. I will share that. Essentially what we saw was, as I suspected, is that there is a completely homogeneous temperature around the exterior of the building. In the day that I shot it, it was probably somewhere around 56 degrees. I didn't see a lot of variation based off of the exposure north versus south. It had been a sunny day. Essentially, that's what you would expect in a building of this type. There's probably very little insulation in the exterior walls, but they are about a 9-inch, 8 or 9-inch brick wall, so a solid masonry. So it's going to be a mass wall. So over the wintertime, that temperature is going to stabilize somewhere between the exterior and the interior temperature gradient. So more or less, we don't have great temperatures, but we probably do have fairly consistent control over that. So you're not going to get a lot of variation with swings in exterior temperature, but it's a mass system versus an insulation system. So that there were no major hot spots or cold spots that would say to do anything particular for the exterior walls. I apologize, but I will post those images for your reference.
I just wanted to make sure it was something that we were able to identify, but yeah, I appreciate that'd be good to look at. I'm wondering if there's any value afterwards, but we can talk about that after the project's done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's part of the thermal imaging that we'll do. And again, with the roof, we saw similar results. Again, it's more of a homogeneous look across, which doesn't really tell me how efficient the roof is necessarily. It just tells me that there's not any place that's bad or better or worse, if that makes any sense. My suspicion is we will have a much more efficient roof, or I know we will when we get done with the additional insulation. It's just that there's not a spot that necessarily is leaking worse than anywhere else or shedding more energy.
Okay.
Mike, this is Scott. Tell me about the windows in the raised portion of the roof there. Are those going to be removed and sealed completely with either bricked or blocked, or tell me what's going to happen there?
So what we decided to do, it's a steel structure up above, so to preserve the capability for if somebody wanted to in the future come back and open those up, we're not going to block them in. What we're going to do, and again, that reference to the detail 7 on sheet A501, we'll do basically an aluminum angle around the interior, and that will become more or less a frame for a piece of rigid board insulation, which will have basically a foil face on the interior, since that's a concealed space anyway. That'll go into that space, and then we'll add more additional insulation around the exterior, and then the roof will come up. So we're going to get a better seal for sure over what's there, much better energy efficiency. But it does keep the possibility that if somebody in the future, beyond our time, 20, 30 years down the road, when it comes time to replace this roof again, if they wanted to open that back up, that would still be a possibility for them.
Very good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, hearing no other, is this motion for close of the public hearing?
So moved.
Got a motion to close the public hearing by Nathan, seconded by Doug. This is a roll call for the close. Doug?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
I vote aye. Nathan?
Aye.
Okay. The next item is discussion and possible action to approve the resolution 0322-21-01, approving the plans and specifications and formal contract cost estimate for the Muscatine County Attorney's Office and Remodel project. This is go ahead.
So moved.
Motion by Nathan,
I'll second.
seconded by Scott. Any further discussion? I did want to have one, this item. Did you look at it, Chance?
Yes.
Jim? Is there any questions or concerns that you have?
No, I see they're gonna start, they tentatively start on April 19th. I've advised folks in the office just to, I wanna get a better idea as we approach that, how that construction process will impact the office operation.
If I could make a quick clarification.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Jim, the bids will be due on April 19th, so that's when we'll make a recommendation for contract. My suspicion is that this project will start before June. Typically what we see is that from the time that we accept the bids, we have about a 2-week turnaround to get the contractor under contract, and then depending on lead times and their availability, I would say the earliest I would expect them to start would be a month after that recommendation. So if we had an early May, had them under contract, and an early to mid-June would be my suspicion on the earliest we would see any actual work on site.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and we'll definitely talk schedule as we get going as part of the pre-construction meeting. We'll talk with you and make sure that, we're starting at a time that is as advantageous as possible for you and your staff.
Thank you.
Eric, did you have any questions or comments, concerns?
Well, we had a lot of good back and forth as he was working out the design, including Jim, Sherry with some of the exterior modifications here, and there was a few tweaks made with county input, and
Okay,
I think we're good.
good. Mike, I was just asking how Eric's input was on it, so. Any comments from the board? Okay, hearing none. We had a motion by Nathan, a second by Scott. This is a roll call vote. Doug?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
I vote aye. Nathan?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Just a quick update, the jail, we're probably about 2 weeks out from that, so we're wrapping up our public review documents, which we posted later this week. And, in our conversations, more or less, we're at the fine tuning stage. We had really great conversations and input with all county staff, so really appreciate everybody contributing to the success of this project. We know it's going to be very critical we have that worked out. The jail, or the deputy quarters addition, the last piece that we're waiting on that is with Johnson Controls to get our monitoring contract in place. Everything on our side has been done properly, and we've just chased this down. So once again, it's an internal communication issue. But we're working with Mike Hartman. We have our temporary certificate of occupancy was issued, and by the end of this week, we should have our final with everything in place. So we appreciate everybody's patience with that, and we continue to work with the vendor to try and improve that process. And then the last piece is the jail hot water. We should have final punch list inspection by the engineers this week, and then we'll get that project closed out. So we'll have everything done before we get into this new round of this construction.
Cool.
Good. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, the next item is items with the county engineer complaint. And first item is discussion and possible action to approve various utility permits.
Yes, good morning. We have one permit this morning from Eastern Iowa RAC of Wilton, Iowa. And they want to bore a service under 171st Street, just east of Ward Avenue, to provide electricity for a cattle shed.
I move to approve.
Okay, a motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Doug. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. Any other updates, Keith?
Not really, other than I'd mentioned, spring is really just arriving, and we've had some rain, we're gonna have some more rain. A lot of our roads are looking really good, but a number of them, and it seems to be one that semi-traffic is moving real regularly on, are, they're tough. Hauling grain, and those roads are being beat up faster than we can fix them, and it's really not even a good time of year to fix them. So, other than that, so I urge the public to be cautious in those areas. and they seem to know where that is.
Yeah, I did have on my comments, I will say that I did get a call, on Elder Avenue. I'm gonna try to get the exact area, cause I saw that that's a big area. But I'll follow up with you once I find out exactly what portion of it that they had a discussion on. So I wasn't sure if that may have been one of the roads that you.
It is not, but at the intersection of 155th and Elder, there's a huge grain storage facility, so I
Maybe.
basically see that being one of them.
Okay, okay. All right, any other comments for Keith?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right, the next item is discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of March 15th, 2021 regular meeting. Motion by Nathan,
Second.
seconded by Scott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 4-0. First item is correspondence. Nathan?
See, I think there were some items we all had, COVID updates, from public health. We also were all forwarded, a communication, from, an Iowa expat, if you will, living in, New York with a concern about some of the confinement operations. I think that's it.
Okay. So I too had all those same emails as Nathan. I had a housing meeting, with, Jeff Sorensen as well on the 17th. And I got the call on Elder Avenue. I'm trying to find out the location on that for areas that they're concerned about washboarding. And then, on Tuesday, I had gone up to Des Moines to, meet with Senator, or not, no, House Representative Cisneros on the levy bill. And that's all I had.
All I had was the same emails as you gentlemen had, and that was it.
Okay. Doug?
That's all I had, was exact same emails you two had, three had.
Any meetings, Doug?
Yeah, we had the Fair Board meeting, March 18th at the fairgrounds, and just to let everybody know, Donovan Sale is this coming Saturday, starts at 8:30.
What is that?
It's an auction,
Oh, okay. Sale. Okay.
equipment auction.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a consignment auction that they hold at the fairgrounds, and have for a number of years now.
Yeah.
They do one in the spring and in the fall.
Good.
Are you done, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay. I had on Monday the 15th, Conservation Board, and, they're continuing to work forward with their cabin projects, getting some small items, finished up, trying to get a little bit of backfill work done and things, and, moving along nicely. Also on Wednesday the 17th, I had Riverbend Transit, and things are still the same, obviously, with the volume of ridership being down, and they're down on drivers and trying to get as creative as possible to attract drivers, and they're being very resourceful, but incredibly difficult to hire any personnel, as many businesses currently are. So they need to keep working at that, and they've put together a new policy in regard to wages and incentives and so on. That's it's very aggressive and very inviting, and so hopefully they'll have some success with that. And that's all I have.
Good, good. I had no meetings, but I did want to mention on my correspondence, I did get a call from Mike Gould this morning in regards to our meeting tomorrow for Iowa Economic Development at the Merrill Hotel. Hopefully you guys can make it too, at 11:30 for you guys. And, sorry, Nathan, go
Oh,
ahead.
no. I had Veterans Affairs on Tuesday. We had some slight turnout. Some folks were over the phone, some folks were in person, but a good meeting.
Good. All right. Moving on. Next item on the agenda is items with the administration office. And the first item is discussion and possible action to approve the proclamation number 3-22-21-01 as Historic Preservation Month, May 2021.
This was requested by the Historic Preservation Commission that you adopt this proclamation.
Okay.
I'll move to approve. Or
Motion.
adopt, yeah, rather.
Motion by Nathan,
I'll second.
seconded by Scott. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Just like to thank them for the work they do. They do a great job.
Yes, that is. Proclamation approved for May. Okay, the next item is receive information from county employees. Brian?
Good morning. I just want to inform Muscatine residents and the board that this is Severe Weather Awareness Week for Iowa. So, for awareness, today is going to be about severe thunderstorms. You go to the National Weather Service. They're providing a lot of information on their webpage. Tomorrow is weather warnings. Wednesday is tornadoes. On that day, the 24th, Muscatine County will be participating in a statewide tornado drill. That'll be at 11 o'clock. The exception will be if there's any severe weather warnings or watches, then it will be canceled.
So we're gonna practice like there's a tornado unless there's a tornado.
Basically, it's just a statewide
I get you.
hidden siren. With that, it's an opportunity to practice the COVID guidelines. It's gonna be a lot different in situations.
Yeah, how does one social distance in a storm shelter?
Very good question. The recommendations are to try to at least stay 6 feet away from people outside your household and your shelter location, wear a mask, wash your hands, cover coughs and sneezes, avoid touching surfaces.
Dimpled.
There is some information on CDC.
Oh, I'm sure Fauci's got a lot to say about it.
The very interesting thing is I have received from FEMA recommendations for people in hurricane situations, and they're actually applying those standards for tornadoes and everything. Thursday, family preparedness, and Friday is flash floods. To mention about the participating in the state tornado drill, our regular monthly tests will resume in April and go to October. And those are the first Mondays of the month at 11 o'clock. Also, in addition, and we've discussed this in previous meetings, now I have the Muscatine County Outdoor Warning Siren locations working with Magic. They're on my county webpage, so you can go to that. It'll open it up, it'll show where all the sirens are located throughout Muscatine County. You can type in your address and it'll show you the closest sirens, so.
That's really good. Thank you
So
for
with
that. I know we'd asked
Magic
about that.
doing that was greatly appreciated, and just continue to work on that. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Brian, what do we have for flooding? Any updates on where we're at on that? Is there any things that you had received from the hydrologist recently?
Last week I participated in the Army Corps of Engineers meeting, and basically included Weather Service, Army Corps Engineer, State Homeland Security. Again, the information is the snowpack up north. We might see a good chance of some minor flooding, but nothing as severe as 2 years ago. That doesn't mean this week with rain conditions, how much rain we get up north of us, can always affect our waterways. So we just continue to monitor that and.
All right, any other comments, questions? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Any other county employees?
I would just add on Mike's comment, we are scheduled for Johnson Controls deputies for tomorrow between 8 and 9 for that final. So that did get set and
Okay, good.
hopefully as soon as that's finished, they can bring a final occupancy for it.
You know, and I think to Mike's comments in regards to, you know, working with them, it seems like we've had that challenge with Johnson's Controls in the past. I think I would encourage maybe a you know, feedback, you know, for them, asking them how can we improve this process, because it seems like we have the same thing in the maintenance building. We're probably gonna have the same thing in the jail, and then if we have any in the county attorney's office, I don't know on that one, but I think it would be good just to say, how do we, you know, do we need to be on the list earlier? Do we need to schedule right when we start? I don't know what the deal is on how come it seems like
We
it
got a
takes.
bribe, yeah.
You know.
We have voiced our displeasure numerous times.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't, I
Lack of
think,
communication, and we've actually had a talk with one of their sales reps who's aware of it.
yeah,
It's up the line, he's trying to put together possibly a conference call where we can address this with some of the people really in control, know whether that'll happen.
yeah. We had the similar situation in the city as well too with that same group, so it's not an unknown. I think it would just be, you know, might be more feedback for them that we definitely wanna continue to improve it, cause that's probably the only thing I can think of.
Can we
what more
creatively schedule payment on our invoices?
Okay, well, thank you, Eric. Any other county employees? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is receive comments from the public. If you're on, please state your name and your address and any questions or concerns.
Duly noted.
Okay, is there anyone on?
We don't have anybody from IT here, so I'm guessing not.
Okay. Hearing none, we will go on to the next item, which is a non-public session pursuant to chapter 20-17 Code of Iowa to discuss strategy and union negotiations.
I move pursuant to chapter 20.17.3 to go into non-public session to discuss strategy and union negotiations.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Doug. This is a roll call vote. Doug?
Aye.
Scott? Aye. I vote aye. Nathan?
Aye.
Okay, so we are moving into a closed session. If you could please